Boker Tov, Chevre, Shavua Tov, like and subscribe. You know the drill. So I felt compelled to come on and talk to you about an achievement that I accomplished yesterday. For those that know, they know. For those that don't know, it might appear to be a secret, and I'm going to reveal what it is. It's no big secret, but I didn't know it before I started it, before I discovered it, and when I discovered it, I thought I'll have a go. But if you are somebody who's returning to the fold, if you like, and getting involved and engaged in your faith, and returning to Jewish practices, if you like, and attending synagogue for the first time in maybe 20, 30 years, like I did, then it's all, you think you know it. I promise you, you know nothing. And eventually you'll discover that it's all about Torah. It's not about anything else, right? It's about Torah and your love and service of God. That's what it's about, ultimately. And the Torah, what a divine song it is. We're wonderful. However, the obligation that we have is to learn what's in the Torah. And there are so many commentaries and so many books, and there are so many what they call Gedolim, great sages, even in recent times, people who wrote about the content of the Torah and what it means for a Jew to follow the instructions of God, which are the mitzvot, the 613 laws. And to learn it, right, there's so many different ways that you can go. You'll eventually find yourself a home within Judaism, if you like. Mine, I don't know, I'm a bit of a butterfly. I like to fly across all the different spectrums because of my, it's not unique, but because of my background. And I'm quite flighty anyway in my mind. You know, one minute I can follow a particular in doctrine and change my mind the next. It's not that they conflict with each other. It's just that what floats your boat and what works at the end of the day. And for me, it kind of all works. I take something from everything, if you like, and that's okay. It's okay. You can be like that. But one of the great sages that we have in Judaism was a 10th century rabbi. I think he was the oligarch at the time of the Sephardi world, the Arab-speaking south of Spain Jews, and his name was Moshe Maimonides, right? He had a nickname. Well, that's not a nickname, an acronym. It was shortened to the Rambam, and everybody knows him as the Rambam. You may have heard of him, but his name is Moshe, and they said of him that from Moshe, Moses, from Moshe to Moshe, Maimonides, right? From Moshe to Moshe, there was none like Moshe. He was great, right? I mean, when you read what he wrote, it's like, what was he on? Where did that brain come from? You realise what an accomplishment this guy made. But he was, I believe he was born in Spain. I went to in a place called Cordova, and I've been there. There's a statue of him in the town square. You go to his little synagogue where he used to daven. And he eventually migrated to Egypt, and he became the physician to the king of Egypt at the time, around the time of the Crusades. And I think it was King Richard. I think he wanted him to be his physician because he was that great a man. And he refused, of course, because he was that way. He wasn't with Christendom. He was with the Arab-speaking world, if you like, a Jew in the Arab-speaking world. I don't think he had dinihood. I think he was very well respected, and some of the texts that he wrote were in Arabic. But this particular text that he wrote, the one that I've just finished, which was yesterday, was written in Hebrew, and it's called Mishne Torah. And he wrote it because he was alarmed by the rapid assimilation of the Yemenite Jews at that time, who had been landlocked, if you like, in Yemen for about 2,000 years. The Yemenite Jews were the closest that you would ever get to the original tribes of Israel, because they migrated there and they just stayed there. and they were treated very badly by the Arabs. Some say they were treated great, but it's not. When you speak to the Yemenite Jews, they were treated really, really bad. In fact, they were being forced to convert, and they were marrying out, and they never ever got, from my understanding, from my interpretation, although I've never heard it, I believe they never ever got the oral law. I think what they got was the Torah on its own, and of course the Torah on its own, as you learn in time, it didn't really tell you what to do. No, it didn't tell you how to do it. It told you what to do, it didn't tell you how. The oral law that we got from Moshe to and all the way down through the sages, which explains to us how we do it. It's otherwise known as that's another story, but very briefly, it was written down after 1500 years of being passed on orally into what they call the Mishnah, 6 Mishneot, right? She Isha Mishne. You might remember from Pesach, you know that song. She Isha Mishne Minot. I think it's Minot or Minot or whatever. Anyway, 6 books, and then those were the source for discussion in what they call the Gemara, which was also written down. So there's 2 stages written down. One was a discussion and explanation of what was in the Mishnah, and an expansion on it in terms of understanding what the oral law was. And eventually that was kind of crystallized, and the halacha, or the Jewish law, was extracted from it, and that's what we kind of live with today. And they didn't get that. And so what he did, the Rambam, was he wrote a series of letters to the Jews in Yemen, and he saved them because of it. He saved for the last 1,000 years, they've gone by everything he said, and it's currently in 14 volumes. I think there's more than that though. I think there's about 3 safers, 3 books within a volume, and so I think there's about 40 or 50 books, but it's been consolidated into 14 volumes. And there's an organisation called Chayenu. It's part of Chabad, and they produced this book called Chayenu, and it's a daily learning program. That's one of the things that you'll learn in time, is that we're obligated to learn every day, to learn Torah every day, morning and night, especially night, right? And we're to understand and grow with it, if you like, and to be better Jews by knowing the law and how to behave and act and operate within the constraints of the law, if you like, of the mitzvot, in order to achieve the mitzvot and serve Hashem, right? That's the idea. So I in this publication, I get 4 of them every month, if you like. And this one was it's for a particular week, and so you carry it around in your pocket. You can knock it about, you can bend it, you can roll it up, stick it in your back pocket, because every 5, the challenge is to learn it. And in order to learn it, you've got to read it, and in order to find the time, if you're working, you've got to grab every 5 minutes you can, every 20 minutes you can, every half hour you can. Never ever take it into the bathroom though, never. On the bus, when you're walking, when you're relaxing, when you've got a 5-minute gap here, you pick it up and you carry on, you read. And within this publication, there's about 6 or 7 different texts. There's the Chumash for the week, there's Tanya, there's Psalms from King David. What a rock star. Hey! And then we've got Mishne Torah, the one that I'm talking about. And then there's Hasidus and so on and so forth. And it's rich in text. You can see how thick it is. There's a lot. And that's a week's worth of reading. But what I personally pursue, Tanya, which is the Chabad Bible, if you want to call it that. It's not. It's just their guru. It's the wrong word. But their Rebbe, their leader, the guy that originally sort of founded the Chabad, was the Elter Rebbe, and he wrote a book called Tanya. Great, mind blowing. All based on Kabbalah. If you're into Kabbalah, it's in this text. But I've got the Rambam. Now the Rambam, right, because it's such a big text, there's kind of like 3 ways, I suppose, that you could read it. And when I first started it, I used to sit down with a rabbi, my local rabbi, Rabbi Pink, in Solihull on a Sunday night, and we'd do 1 chapter on a Sunday night. And I worked it. I said, how long is it going to take us to finish this? And he said, worked it. It's about 17 years. I said, no, I've got 17 years. So I'll be dead before then. And then as time went by, I realised that there was, there was the Seferim, you could get the Safers, the books. I bought them. It cost me about 900 quid at the time. Now they've gone up because of inflation and carriage and everything. It's got about 1,600 quid. What an investment. You know, so £900, they're worth 1,600 now. But I've read about 4 or 5 of them so many times that they're battered. That, you know, the spines are coming off and everything. And I proceeded all the way through. I've done. I tried to do what they call. Anyway, I'm jumping about. Let me go back to what the program is. There's one chapter a week, 17 years. One chapter a day takes you 3 years, or 3 chapters a day takes you 1 year. Yesterday, I completed the cycle for 1 year. I've been reading this for every day for a year, for 3 chapters a day. It's tough, but so rewarding. When I announced yesterday that I completed it, my rabbi wrote to me, he said, "Congratulations, Mazel Tov." He said, "You've just read the entire Torah, everything that there is to know about it. Not Chumash, the Torah, everything." Felt great. You know, the final chapter was all about Mashiach, and with that, reading about what he's going to do for us when he comes, and what the environment is going to be like, and why we're waiting for him, and why we're commanded to expect him, and finishing and completing this, it brought tears to my eyes. I didn't feel relief. Oh, I'm relieved I finished it. I didn't feel relief. I felt motivation. I felt motivated. Like, yes. And but I'm going to go on to 1 chapter a day now. So from today, I'm going to do 1 chapter a day. It's going to take 3 years to finish it, because I've got so much more to read. Over the last year, I must have bought about 20 it's about books. I've got them all piled up on my desk. I've got to read them. I can't just buy them and not read them. So I'm going to switch my focus to them. But if you're interested, you can buy this. You can read this free of charge on the Chabad website. There's a guy there. I would say the best person to listen to or read is Rabbi Gordon. If you go into the Chabad website and search for Rabbi Gordon, he does the 1 chapter a day and the 3 chapters a day. Alav Shalom, he's already passed away, but what a legacy he left. Go and check him out. Amazing. But, you know, you log on, you go on every day, and you read. At first it's hard because there's things to wrap your head round. But that's why I've got a friend who likes to listen to the video. He's videoed as well, you know. You can sit there and listen because he will explain things as you go. And it might take average about 20 minutes if you do 1 chapter a day to listen to him. You could probably speed read with the chapter in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But I promise you, you'll get to certain sections where it will say things that will shock or alarm you. It will pause you to thought, and you'll go off with the fairies for 20 minutes thinking about that one word or sentence or concept. But it's a great endeavour. I loved it. I strongly recommend it. One day I'll do a little bit more about the Rambam. I'll explain a bit more detail. But so far I've been going on for 13 minutes. So I'm going to stop there. Chevre, Toda Rabba Lachem. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. You know the drill. Litriot.